like the relationship stuff. Now we have, you know, a same-sex relationship. We've got a dodgy alien organization, governmental situation going on with different priorities at work. I happen to be a very political person, like a lot of superhero comics writers have been.
Yes.
And so, therefore, I make no apologies for that. It's like, you know, I'm loving this. You see it on Facebook and stuff, people saying, back when comics weren't political, and you're like,
well, they always were.
Always. You know, it's like, you got to be kidding me. 1946, Superman throws himself onto an exploding atom bomb. Think about it. 1946. Right? You're going to tell me that's just like some toss-off science fiction moment? You know, I don't think so. So
they had Captain America going and beating up Hitler and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
And more directly political than that.
Well, and take him up to Watergate. Nixon shoots himself in the head in front of Captain America in 1974. So, you know, it's kind of, the Captain America was always embedded in that stuff. So it's, so in this case, clearly, it really just begs, in my mind, for dealing with the issue of human immigrants, refugees, and undocumented workers. You know, what's Nebula going to think of that? And even if it's just relegated to a thought balloon, it's enough, right? It's enough. It's enough for us to know Nebula better. And I think that's pretty cool. There's tons of stuff in there. Now that you've made up, you know, the other character, let's tell you what I would do. I would make a list. I would make a list of characters and of organizations implied by everything, or stated, you know, in everything. And we've got the alien hunter, which also means behind that alien hunter is an alien culture. We've got the non-player character, dependent. Oh, by the way, you only have to specify 15 points of disadvantages for her, or situations. Oh, okay. Sorry, only 15 points, because that's what you get. So the other things may be the case, but only one of them counts as the, you know, the meat for your situation points. And so we have that. And it wouldn't matter. I mean, if you choose the hunted, that'd be one thing. If you choose the psychological relationship one, which I kind of would favor, that she loves your character, that I'd favor that one.
I do too. Yeah. I think it adds to the character.
Yeah. And so, and notice that it's not irrational. It's just it's just often. And so therefore the character isn't a load, right? She's not a pain in the ass. It's love. That's awesome. And that's why it's called a situation, not a disadvantage, because that means you're in situations because of this. So, so we've got those two characters. And then we got the organization, the Alien Watch, you know, group, that's involved here. And, we can round it out a little bit. There may be incidental characters can crop up quickly. Your characters have kind of a condo-style apartment together, right? As I recall?
Yes.
Right? So, therefore, just in the course of play, we would do things like we meet a neighbor or two. Right? Who would have that kind of condo apartment as well? And so we you know, in that kind of neighborhood, clearly there's the coffee shop and stuff like that. You know, so I wouldn't necessarily put those in my list, but I'm kind of keeping them culturally in my mind. So what I do is I look through that list for everybody in the group, and I call that the now. So in Champions Now, the now is actually a mechanic. So I make this list, and I just say, all right, what's everybody in the now doing? Not only that, which ones, based either on their intrinsic situations or based on whatever just happened, which ones are really going to be proactive about right now? Maybe you and the character's lover, Nebula and her lover have a conversation that's actually pretty consequential. And so I'm looking at that for the next session and I go, oh, wow. Well, I totally know what she's going to do now. She's totally going to, contact so-and-so. She's totally going to, do a thing. And so now I've got this thing to play. So looking through my now, what I do, actually, I showcase this in the rules. I actually show this big list, which I happen to use as a bullet point list. Other people can use whatever they want, spreadsheets, I don't care. And I highlight the ones that I'm going to use this upcoming session. Who's coming in on you? Who is raring to go this time? And that basically creates my session or my situation, my in your face situation. The other contributor to the in your face situation is, of course, the players, because Champions is notable if you're not playing passively, if you're not playing like, what's my story GM, what's my story hook, if you're not playing that way, and you say where your dude is going, what's going on, then you are effectively prepping, your session prepping just as much as the GM is. And so I've got my proactive elements. You, by definition, have your player character who is themselves a proactive element. You may notice that in some ways that sort of loosens the requirement to have the fight scene happen halfway through. Because you don't really know. I talk a lot about playing hot and playing cold. If the GM's playing hot, then they're coming in through the skylight. If the GM's playing cool, that means that we're going to see how things go with what everybody is doing based on their priorities, and which conflicts explode happens. And so, you can modulate your hot and cool, as a matter of group preference.
Yeah, role playing through the situations.
Yeah. And so it's sometimes hot is good. I recommend hot for the first session, right?
Yeah.
And then after that, you cool some things down, see where people go with stuff. But you can always turn it up. You can always turn it up and say, you know what? I got Bolthead here in the now. Bolthead is so pissed based on what happened, a couple of sessions ago. There's no way Bolthead's not gonna do his thing. So you're ready. It's like I got Bolthead nice and hot for this next session. I don't care what they're doing. He's coming in through the window. So that's fine. I find that the players will do the same. They will play aspects of their own situations hot and cool. And once you get that going with a group of people, session prep is a whole different animal now, right? Session prep is way different. No risk of nothing happening, but no safety net about what will happen. And great, whatever happens, you change the now and look at it for the next session. The now being that list. It's really effective. I've done it for decades. Champions taught me how originally. And it's really powerful. It's pretty much the way Aaron Alston did Strikeforce. I'm not talking about the ultimate setting that he made. I'm talking about the way he got there. Right.
Yeah, it was from reading that. I have that, the original and everything, and it was obviously all based out of a long-term role playing.
Yeah, we're just doing it. They even have a great section in there about character arcs, about how you discover the developmental aspect of your character, and you see what happens with it. I mean, it's beautifully written. So that is really a big part of the heart of Champions Now, is embracing that process. So it's and that's the now. I mean, that's in the title, right? You don't have future, you don't have goal, you don't have epic. You've got what's going on right now. So cool. Hopefully, does this kind of give you a little perspective on the things?
Definitely a lot. Yes.
Cool. Yeah.
Very good. Yeah, and I can work on if you want, fleshing out some of the characters, groups, locations, like you mentioned, for between the hunters that are after her and her everyday life.
You could. I mean, one of the nice things one of the things about the hunteds in particular is that it's really up to the player. You could hand me a sheet if you wanted,
Or let you come up with it.
Right. Or you say, Alien Hunter, they're yours. And I'm like, oh, really? And I'm like, right. Either way, or anything in between is fine. So,
what I'd come up with would probably, knowing how I design things, I've been a GM for like 30 years myself.
Yeah.
What I'd come up with would probably be worse than what you'd come up with. I'm serious about that.
Either way. Now, the other thing is that waiting on play for certain questions is really helpful. So therefore, like that special effects thing about the flight trail and stuff, I've found that if you over-purpose that before play, pretty soon you've drained it. And let it happen and watch other people's eyes light up at the table, and it's a whole different experience now. So just knowing that you're ready to go about that stuff, knowing that you're kind of ready to say it, that's where we need to be when we start. Okay. Of the 11 other people who spoke up, when I made that offer, 5 of them so far have responded. So you may be surprised to know that Nebula already has 5 teammates.
Okay.
One of whom has an auxiliary character who is also a superhero in the group. So that's actually 6 characters that have been provided. So we've got 7. We've got a 7-person team at the moment. And if we're really lucky, I doubt all the others will respond. Otherwise, this is going to take all year. But if all the others respond, then we will have a 13-person supergroup to look at here.
That'd be big.
Yeah, which is great. Now, we're not going to play this, but you can see what the now would look like, right? I've got, even if I have 4 player characters, or shoot, even 2, I've got a nice solid list of stuff to work with. A nice solid list. And I'll probably come up with a thing or two totally on my own. But only a thing or two. I don't need more than a thing or two on my own. I've got plenty. So it actually kind of lightens things up for the GM a little bit. They only have to make up stuff that they really want to bring in. So kind of fun. What I've seen already is that everybody has taken those 2 statements and run with them very interestingly. We've got a whole lot of outlaw tech in this situation. And a whole lot, because of the whole heroic ideals thing, a whole lot of really interesting spins on what hero is or isn't through these 6 characters. So I'm really looking forward to telling you about them once I develop them now a little bit more with the others.
Yeah, definitely want to see what other people have done, because I imagine they're mostly going to be like me, bringing a lot of baggage from the older versions,
really
versions of Champions with them.
Since I'm not doing mechanics, I'm not doing points with the other 11 people, that's probably true. But most of it I've found is once people kind of swallow hard a couple of times, I hope you're looking at Nebula and going, man, can't we play?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it'd be interesting.
Yeah, and that's kind of the way I feel too. And it's when people have that feeling, I'm confident that the mechanics are going to pay off. You're going to be like, oh, this is Champions. Oh, wait, that's a little different, but I can do that.
Yeah.
I can do this,